where I check out games that are still works in progress, haven't been fully commercially released. And today we're checking out Net.Crawl, which is currently on an open demo. You can play it yourself. And it looks pretty neat. And this is the type of game that it's sort of in a very close to looking like finished kind of state. And that meant that I decided today to give it a full stream. So for example, this time last week we were streaming platformers and I streamed like 4 in the same stream. And that's very easy to do with action games because you can check out the kind of general game feel of an action game very, very quickly. And that is really what an action game lives or dies on. When you've got a more kind of strategic game like a deck builder or something like that, I tend to want to give it a little bit more of a try. So I thought I'd give this one a bit of a longer stream because my experience doing this channel has been that games like this do need more time for you to kind of uncover any problems and stuff like that. It may well just be that I enjoy this game and get on with it totally fine. I'm just gonna get my spreadsheet of doom open, which will be where the developer leaves me any comments about the game and things they want to know about. Yeah, it just says the game has a strong focus on encounters with bosses that have strong abilities and a unique victory condition. So I'd appreciate if you can give me a fresh perspective on the game. We're not in a position to rework the whole thing, though. Yeah, it looks pretty far along. We've done many playtests already and it's certainly not terrible, but there are areas that can be improved for sure. But I don't think I can see them clearly anymore. I don't have the goal to make it approachable for everyone. The game is too niche for that, but I hate losing capable players because they aren't able to internalize the game fast enough. That's a really good and self-aware thing to hear from a designer. It always rings alarm bells when someone wants their game to be for everyone. That doesn't work, particularly in the indie space. You know, whatever genre you're working in as an indie developer, you are working within a niche. You are making your game for players of that niche. And you can say, oh, I want to make a deck builder, but make it slightly more accessible or something like that. But if you go down that route, it still needs to be good enough to appeal to people in the core of that niche. Because otherwise you're kind of getting into casual games territory. And that's going to be a problem because then you need sort of the money of a casual games company. So basically what we're being told here is that, you know, they've gone down the right route. They've developed this game that is for sickos, for you know, capable players, they've put it, but they want to make sure that there is nothing that people are really going to bounce off of who are like the core audience for this genre, which is good. That is a good target. You can't make something for everyone. You shouldn't try to make something for everyone, but you should have an idea of what the core audience for that thing like. I did feel curious reading that when they said that they've done lots of playtests. I wonder if they are internal playtests or if they've done any external playtests before putting this online in this format. So, you know, just giving it to random people you know to play and seeing what happens, that kind of thing. That can be bad because it can be people that just aren't fans of the genre and don't understand it at all, but that can sometimes also highlight things that anyone would have a problem with. So, basically, there is a different type of data that you can get from having genre sickos who really like that type of game play your game versus just random people. And the second category isn't always helpful, but it can be. Because if there's something that people in both of those categories don't like, then that's probably something to look at. If there's something that the kind of casual player and the genre specialist don't like or don't understand, then that's probably a good indicator of the thing that you should most focus on, because that's the thing that might get the people who are on the edge of those two categories. You know, like if you're making a deck builder and you're sort of thinking of the type of people that have only played one deck builder, they're not super expert. There might be some accessibility things where you're going to kind of catch that middle group that are sort of in the middle. They're not quite fully onboarded into loving the genre and everything that comes out of it. So, but this looks like very much my jam in terms of the type of game I would play for fun. And that's another reason why I gave it a full stream today rather than streaming 3 or 4 games. It gets quite grueling trying to run streams that are always multiple games rather than deep diving on one. And some of that is because some games you just don't really experience until you've experienced them for an hour. You know, you need to get the longer loop of them, which is why when it's something like platformers, we can get through more quickly. Very standard. Very small UI thing, but whenever you have a pop-up like that and there's still lots of stuff back around it, I would put a darkening screen behind it. To play options. That's a lovely, satisfying little menu widget. Prologue, deep run challenges. Okay, so this will be, they've called it the prologue rather than the tutorial, which is a good way to make people not hate playing a tutorial. Good idea. This is a sample deep run. It can help you form an opinion about a regular run in Net.Crawl, but it still lacks variability and is missing some important features. It will greatly improve with time. This seems like a good way to showcase a run-based game. You give people the learning scenario, and then you give them, you know, an experience of what playing the game is like, but it's lacking a bunch of content, and you don't need that content until you're playing a game for like 5, 6, 10, 20 times anyway, because you're not going to see it all and you're not going to be aware of how much or little of it there is. It also means that you can test everyone with the same set of stuff, because the bigger you make the pool of content, the more variable different players' experiences will be. And that's why, you know, if you've watched the Slay the Spire stuff about how they used like data-driven design after with that post-launch, then that's worth looking at if you're making a game like this type of thing as well, because that's very insightful in terms of how you tweak a game that has lots and lots of content to make sure that none of it is too broken. Yeah, this is a demo. This is out in the next 6 months. I think they've got it down for commercial release in the next 6 months. So we're going to do data collection, upload protocol, core interaction. I always feel a bit wary when, like, I love Cyberpunk. I love Cyberpunk books and movies, and whenever we get a game and there's loads of Cyberpunk jargon in it as the game mechanics, it always makes me think, oh, am I going to struggle to learn this? But the last game that we played, the last game we played in this sort of category was Into the Grid, which was a Cyberpunk deck builder, and I sort of learnt the jargon there pretty quickly. So, hi Vadim, hi Spoon. Another white rabbit, huh? Very original. Well, let's see if you're a crawler. Okay. Click on an adjacent node to activate it. Now you have 1 data. Keep collecting data until your memory is full. Where is my memory? Is that this? So that's my first question, is what is my... Ah, here's my memory. Okay, cool. That's what we're looking at. So this is a firewall that blocks incoming data. That's got some sort of red thing around it, so that's going to stop. At some point that might trigger and then I can't pick up data. You're out of actions. Okay, so we've got action points. We use them to move around the board, chomping stuff up. You can't always move if you can't move if you run out of action points, and you can't see everything on the board unless you're adjacent to it. I want to pick everything up, guys. I know that you've told me I can finish the level, but I want all the things. Even if I don't need all the things. Okay, so we got a sort of board gamey, action point driven hex movement thing. So far, it's feeling like a kind of board game, like a Gloomhaven type thing. Yeah, the tutorial explanation is very good so far. So we get stuff like this that is like giving you broader context, but everything we saw in the active tutorial was just do this now, which is how I always encourage people to do it. You either give instructional text that is like, here is what you're clicking on now, and you don't give too much context, or you have these asides where you're explaining the broader context. If you try and mix those together, it can get really confusing. An ocean of data is not without currents. So I'm putting these in a... These are the data nodes you will see during levels. Okay. Potato S, that's funny. Is that the computer we're hacking? Exhaust the core. Hint, collect data and then upload it into the core. Is that the core? Is that the core? This is a core. Not the brightest example of one, but still counts. Okay, so we've got some color coding here as well of like the purple hex is the core and the purple text is the core. And yeah, okay. It's obsessed with data. All cores are obsessed with something. You need to upload 8 data into the core. You can activate this without spending a data. That's what that little lightning bolt means. That didn't take up an action point. And then these two data, this is 1 data, this is 2 data. I feel like those icon sizes are pretty decent and they're easy to read, but not so different that you couldn't occasionally mess it up, which you kind of want people to be able to occasionally. That's 3 data. Upload data into the core. How do I do that? Do I click on the core? I think I need an action to do that. You're about to get hit by trace. It's going to hurt a little. Okay, so that's my health and this is the thing attacking me. We'll reduce link at the end of the turn. We've got a lot of hacker jargon here. I'm not finding it too overwhelming, but largely that is because everything has got decent iconography. And I think the iconography is usually more important than the names you call things. Talking to someone recently who I'm mentoring about this, and just saying, like, particularly if you've got lots of stuff on screen or if it's fast moving, then an icon is just always better than having the word strength pop up, because we just read shapes and colors way faster than we read words. We read like an individual number way faster than we read a word. But if you've got all these status pop-ups and it's like strength, poison, cromulence, whatever, people are going to struggle to read that very quickly, especially when there's lots of other stuff going on. Have I done enough? The core has become a shiny. Here's a crystal. It's what makes the core smart. I mean, it used to make them smart. They're all crazy now. Okay. All the cores are crazy. This is corrosion. Always shows up when we touch the crystals. And the corrosion theme sounds like some Purity Ring song or something, which is cool. Ah yes, the core did blow up. We don't have time to talk about it. I've voice cast the little mascot as Billy Crystal. That's who we're doing with that. Okay. So I got a little bit of an ouchie boo-boo on the way out. And then we've got our first branching path. I would say this is a very, very minor UX thing, but there is something about this this layout of this map that makes me feel like this is the thing I'm on, and now I'm choosing between these things. I feel a bit like we're prematurely hiding the location that the player's gone from, and I'm saying this very early on, and I don't think it will really be an issue, but I do think the option that we're just about to leave should have the kind of highlight on it, and then because otherwise I see this situation and I'm kind of excited that I'm going to make a choice, and actually I'm not going to make a choice yet because I'm still on this one. Traces everywhere, but it can be tricked. Take everything, you'll need it. I'll take everything. I don't know what it does. Oh, that's interesting, Dennis. Yeah. It's not like a thing that's really going to mess people up, but it is, it's just sort of a mild brain fart thing. So we're here. These are our new top options. I'm going to get credits and memory. In the end, only good memories remain. Didn't really know what they were. Player icon on the previous one, so it sort of shows where we are. Yeah. Is this going to be... This is another core, right? The purple ones are the cores, and that's basically the actual levels. This is Amber, a playful kind. Blink and she's not there. Amber hides somewhere. I'm not going to do it for the orange ones. Amber hides somewhere among the unrevealed nodes. Go and find her. Okay. I will. I'll find her. Amber, where are you? I dropped 3 trace there. I don't understand what that means yet. Yeah, we're getting some good IT puns so far. I like how playful it just kind of generally is from a story and theme point of view. Find Amber several times. You may upload data while she's still visible. This is trace. Okay, so I want to keep that low. Not sure I understand what's going on exactly at this moment, but it's the sort of thing that I'm willing to just tough it out and see where we go. So she's going to just sort of appear and disappear. And I've got to keep chasing her around. That was a teleporter. I missed an opportunity there. Is that going to take a life off me? So basically, unless you can drop the trace to 0, it's always going to do... okay, so this number out of 5 is how long until you lose a heart. Got it. That's initially quite confusing. I don't know if it's going to be that much of a problem, but it could be a stumbling block for some people. Where are you, Amber? I'm gonna find you. Or maybe I'm not. Maybe this will be my first loss. There you are. You cheeky jokester. Right. Exit right next to where we are. Perfect. That was satisfying. It felt a little bit like I'd done some stuff randomly, but who's this? The flow is getting stronger. I see what's happening here. So basically, all of these nodules are the kind of basic things you can find on the grid, right? And then as you put these on, they upgrade. So what's happening is that it's like if you had a deck of cards that were hexagons. I don't know what Outlaws is. If you've got a deck of cards that are hexagons and you lay them all out and you make the grid that way, and then you upgrade the cards and you do it again, that's what's happening with that aspect of the game. That's pretty neat. So they start off this kind of blue hologram art and you upgrade them by overwriting parts of this deck with these. So really, I want to put my first set of stuff over the ones that only give you one data, which is these. But you can also then leave yourself in a position where you can't put stuff... I don't know. I'm going to try not to overthink it at this stage. I'll just put them over the one data ones. So that's the equivalent of when you're in Slay the Spire and you get a chance to get rid of a card or upgrade a card, and you sort of think about which are my basic cards that are the least useful. So I'll kind of get rid of a defense or something. Oh yeah, I haven't played it. The attention to detail in all of this UI text and the kind of way that color coding is used on keywords and icons are incorporated and stuff is just very, very strong. I'm a big fan of everything I can see here. So this inverter is going to refresh all exhausted nodes and exhaust all active nodes. So does that mean it's going to be constantly inverting? Oh yeah, it's inverting the board. That's why it's called an inverter. Okay. I need to just get next to it and upload data. Morning news. If this is the first activation this turn, collect 4 data. Okay, so I need to generally go for that first, unless there's something better. So I've got a very strong opening move here, because I can go there, and then go to the 3 here. And then drop some trace, and we'll get 3 data over there. What does the phone book do? Gains callbacks. They're used to pay for movement over exhausted nodes instead of actions. So those, if I pick up the phone book, I then get a special move where instead of spending these actions, I can go back over these exhausted nodes. So I go there. That's a callback. That's a callback. And then I use my actions to go back over there. Drop 2 trace. Drop 1 trace. No trace. No trace left. Alright, I think I keep forgetting when my data is full. And I think that's kind of annoying. So very, very small thing. Maybe having some visual tell to know when this inventory of data is full, so that we don't sort of carry on going around being a data glutton. A glutton for the data. Eating all the data that we don't need. It's got a 4 on it. I need to reduce its strength by 4. Another one is trying to die during the tutorial, huh? This will look terrible in the report. I'll save you this once, but there is no need to ever mention it. I should have maybe gone to the teleporter then. I could have... Oh, I had enough moves to get out. I was forgetting about the callbacks. Okay. No major problems so far with understanding this. And that's good. It's neat. It sort of reminds me of, like... If you've played Roguebook. Roguebook is like a Slay the Spire type deck builder card dueling thing, and then it has an overmap, which is a hex grid where you go around and there's a fog of war and you uncover stuff. It feels like those two things merge together. It's nice. It's neat. It can be... I've seen games that try and merge deck building with the spatial puzzle, and the problem with doing spatial puzzles in a real place is it's like hexagons, but then it's supposed to be inside a castle or something, and it just feels really weird. Hexagons work very well when the setting is abstract, so when it's something like this, it works. When it is a big zoomed out map of a world, then hexagons work. As soon as you get like close into a dungeon, I feel like hexagons make things feel too artificial. This works very well because there's no like rivers or walls or anything, so we can... It's more about just what is adjacent to the current space that you're in. Okay, firewall there. Blocks data. Now it's gone away. Okay, so that's basically just putting a minimum threshold on how much data we need to get each turn. I'll drop the 3 trace to preserve my health. It seems like preserving your health is generally going to be a better option. So this level doesn't have a boss in. This is just collect enough data to proceed. That wasn't a great turn. Yeah, John was saying happy this game has a whole stream, so you have time to get into it. Yeah, I've been scheduling my streams like a month in advance, and I'm trying to alternate between doing a stream where it's like 3 or 4 little action games and then something longer, because there are just types of games where you just can't get a feel for them very quickly. That's an express, that's an express. Might as well just go to them both. Jump over there and get our trace down. Okay, so teleporting onto a space doesn't activate the space. You still have to take the action to activate it. And now we've got loads of these callbacks, so I can actually jump around. I sort of had neglected that the level was over then, and it was just like, I want to go around picking stuff up. I think there are a few instances where drawing attention to an important thing could be done just taking up a slight level by blinking it. And the 2 things that I would blink would be the level exit, because you get into such a flow of trying to pick stuff up that it's like at that time I just completely forgot that the level was over. And I think that's because we've predominantly had bosses so far, and then we had a level that wasn't a boss, it was just a data collection level, and that meant when the level was finished it didn't click. But I definitely think that having a full inventory of data that you need to then use could be a bit clearer as well. So just having that blink or flash a little bit just to make the player more aware of that state, because like wasting data by picking it up and then realizing you've been doing that feels quite bad, and I just would give that a bit more of a tell. But these are tiny little things, and it's always good, you know, it's always good feedback when your game's at this stage and the feedback you're getting is like tiny little things like that. Drop 4 trace, then exhaust all nodes in this row. Spend 1 data to gain 1 action. I don't think I've been using these. So it says extra. Hovering over... This doesn't make sense at the moment. This is what I spend to get that thing. Okay. I haven't seen these... Oh yeah, we had a glitch show up. So this is like a separate deck of tiles that's like special ones that aren't the blue ones, I think. Not sure how they interrelate in terms of how they show up on here. What does he do? Maxwell is about to reboot the level. Let me show you what it means. Don't reboot the level. First, all nodes from the system grid are placed at random locations. Then the rest of the level is filled up from the data pool. That doesn't seem like a bad thing. Okay. Fine. Fine. There's no game audio. I just have it down really low, I think. Is that better? Is that coming through? The volume monitors on Streamlabs and OBS are really not that helpful. Because if there's like a sound going through that is just very high or low frequency, it shows as being really loud even though it's not. Oh, I haven't defeated him yet. He's still got 4. What can we use to drop trace? Ouch. Ouch. Is there anything better than when a dude turns into a crystal? And then Purity Ring shows up? That sort of like Hoover. I think that type of synth is called like a Hoover saw. It just reminds me of the band Purity Ring very, very heavily. Duplicate, merge, upgrade. This feels like the least intuitive part of the game, so I'm going to buy something. I like teleporting. I just put it on top. Does that upgrade it? Is that Hyperlink Plus? Yeah, okay, so we're doing a sort of gacha game mergy type thing with those. I'll go for a heart. I appreciate that the map is quite clear about what you get at various stages, because there's quite a lot of complexity in this game, and I think, you know, you want complexity to be like a budget that is spread out and not just Well, it's not everywhere. So having a map where there is occasionally just, there is money here, there is a heart here, rather than having to remember, oh, to get a heart I need to go in there, blah, blah, blah. I think that's neat. We'll get some more memory. We're going to hack CERN. Yeah, it's... the purity ring thing, it's specifically the end of the level. There's like a theme music for the corruption, and it goes and it's got like a Hoover saw. So I'll get that back up in a minute. You've got a really good guide on the website. So if you in the game, if you click on this question mark, it takes you to a Steam guide that talks about how a lot of the mechanics work. So there's like a off app guide. So I'm just having a quick look. Having a quick click through Steam, and then we'll try and finish this tutorial run, which I think I'm going to die on. And then we'll play the main run. But I think there's so much good practice here in terms of like what is being presented to the public here as a demo. Yeah, no, it's good. I am so sick of seeing Steam demos that do not feel like a demo, you know? Like, I'm old enough to remember when a demo was like a third of the game in the final quality of the game. That's what demo used to mean. Doesn't have to be a third of the game, but like a portion of the game that's in the final quality. And what tends to happen now is people put out a public playtesting game for like an alpha, and it's just immediately on Steam as like here's our game that we're definitely going to finish making, you know, wishlist it and stuff, and it's just not at that stage yet. I really feel like the quality of where this is at is the type of thing that should be on Steam as a demo, rather than like on itch as like a playtesting prototype, which is like, that's the distinction people really struggle with. So reboot is the action where we shuffle everything on the board. Okay, I upgraded my data capacity so I can hold 9 instead of 6 now. What would be really what would be really good would be if I can deliberately shuffle the board so that my green special abilities are closer to this guy. So I'm gonna just see what happens if I do that. Drop some trace. What is that special ability happening where I jump automatically? Ah, it's what CERN is doing. So CERN has a move that makes me make a forced free move in the same direction. So I basically need to be mindful of which direction I'm going in, because I'm going to do it twice. We'll jump over there and get the callbacks. Then one over there. And then I get the free move onto the core, so that kind of... That was neat. I wasn't intending to do that, but it was a good happy accident. Okay. I've still got callbacks, so I can kind of just walk across here without taking up any moves. Jump over that way. That one's free. That gives us callbacks. That one's free. That's the express thing. With this little lightning bolt basically means you can move onto it without using up an action. the special rules that the cores provide really do make everything feel very different, and that's a great little novelty factor. You know, it's because the game is based around a spatial puzzle rather than like just numbers and statuses, which is what most battle-based games like this are. It means that you can have a very kind of different feeling experience from one boss to the next because of the spatial element. So this special kind of rule where I move twice is just making it feel very, very different. Like whatever. I think that's important in any kind of run-based game, is to work out where the design space is to make the encounters feel different, or the puzzle, whatever the thing is that the player's doing over and over again. Because just having like enemies with more or less health that do slightly different moves isn't really enough to make things feel substantially different. You have to go, okay, what is the player used to doing? Okay, we're going to mess with that in a particular way. And like games like Slay the Spire do that without this spatial element. They do it by kind of going, okay, what's the player taken for granted that they can do? Okay, we'll introduce a character now that messes with that in a particular way. But I've seen a lot of games that don't really get to that stage, and it's just like they're just adding more of a number onto something to try and make it difficult, and that's not really interesting enough to hold someone's attention for like multiple hours. We're going to teleport. No, we're not. We're going to just go this way and get some more data. Callback would be useful. I really need to drop some trace, so we're going to go over here and into this corner. Oh, I can't get there this turn. That's a shame. Got 1 heart left. Okay, let's focus on dropping trace. Where do I want to go? I want to start my next turn over here. Cool. Yeah, that extra rule from the core just gave us a very different experience this time around. Nice. Okay, complete the run. That's nice. That's a very small distinction, but making that an active click to finish the thing makes it feel really satisfying. So these were the cores that we fought. This was our system grid that are like our special moves. Aspects matrix. This is so nerdy, some of the naming of things, but it's what people expect from a cyberpunk theme, and there's always going to be this tension in cyberpunk games of like having enough jargon for it to feel flavoursome, but making the jargon make enough sense that it doesn't confuse people from playing the game. And I used to play, well, I played Netrunner a few times, the card game, and Netrunner is like the quintessential too much jargon cyberpunk game. And it's not like it's in a context where, like, if you play a cyberpunk role-playing game, like the CD Projekt Red one or one of the Shadowrun games, you get all this other context. You get people just talking about normal everyday stuff, and then the slang is thrown in, and it's sort of padded because you've got other stuff. But when you have a purely mechanical game that is just like throws you in a situation and you're hacking stuff now, it can be so overwhelming to get all this cyberpunk jargon in. But it is what fans of that genre expect, and I mean genre in the broad media sense, not gameplay genres in this case. Okay, we're updating the content database, so it's basically telling us that this is the stuff that we've unlocked. Some of these illustrations do have a slightly kind of uncanny vibe to them. I'm not going to go into that in depth, but I think they all feel like they belong in the same universe, which is the most important thing, is the consistency. I haven't seen any icons where I've gotten them confused or struggled to remember what they are, so the icons are working for me as a just sort of like general mnemonic thing in the game, or heuristic thing. Yeah, Netrunner is so hard to learn. Remember me? Good, let's rebuild you after the wipe. Refresh. When data value becomes odd, drop 1 trace. Oh, that's quite good. Okay, so these are aspects. So these are like relics, like just passive things that you always have regardless of the board state. So at the end of the turn, I can refresh a random adjacent node. Refresh a nerd. This stream is sponsored by Nerd Refreshment. For all of your nerd hydration needs. Doppler shift. Gain 3 actions at the start of your turn, start of the first turn, and set link to half its maximum value round down. Okay, so I kind of like the idea of having something that reduces trace. I'm going to go for that. So whenever my data value becomes odd, drop 1 trace. One of the interesting things about that is it adds an extra benefit to picking up 1 trace. Because normally, if you're not trace, 1 data. Because normally, if you're surrounded by 3s, 2s, and 1s of data, you're going to go for the largest one most of the time, unless you want to create a path in a particular direction. But having a power-up that means that when I'm on 4 and I go up to 5, I get something else, it incentivizes picking up the 1s. So that is an interesting rule deviation, but it's also going to force me to have to think a little bit harder about what I'm doing. And I love a power-up that does that. I don't always go for them. If I'm playing a game very casually and I'm tired, I will go for the passive power-ups that are just always good, regardless of situation stuff. But if I'm in a kind of thinky mood, then I'll want those kind of power-ups where it's like lots of interesting interdependencies, I guess. If this, then this. Initializing the system, so we're picking some of this stuff. I liked wire burn. So Link is like your health. It's kind of like your shield. It's your health before you lose a heart. This drops trace and weakens the firewall, which is the thing that stops you collecting data. But so that's like hurting you a little bit for 2 benefits. That doesn't seem that useful because you have to use an action to use it anyway, so it's like just a free move on the board. I'm going to go for the electromagnetic pulse. That feels like a nice big one. That drops your trace if you finish on it. It's like a castle. So we're getting a lot of stuff that is like triggers when you end a turn on it. So I'm going to get the Citadel and the answering machine. Spaghetti code. I used to work with an Italian programmer, and I remember once discussing with him about how, you know, in Anglo culture we have spaghetti and meatballs, and how in Italy they don't eat spaghetti and meatballs because spaghetti is a pasta that you have with lighter sauces, and like ragu sauces for like heavier pasta. And out of that we developed the idea of spaghetti and meatball code, which is like one step worse than spaghetti code, because spaghetti code is bad enough, but spaghetti and meatball code is just the worst. Right, so we've got 3 trace, we've got maximum 5 link, we need to get 3 firewall before we can pick up any data, and we need 5 data to exit the level, so go that way, and then I'll go 2, 3, 4. Is that a bug? That looks like a bug. This is a yellow loot node. From now on, one will be added at the board at the start level. You're trying to tempt me. I was on my way over to my fortress. Disgraceful. It's the purity ring sound. I think the baby toy vibes work very well for what this is doing. Because it just makes it feel playful. Okay, so do I get both of these? Have I got both of them or just one of them? So I'm going to put this one over here. Okay, I can only put one down. Eavesdrop. If active and the avatar is on an adjacent node or closer, collect 3 data. Okay. Collect 1 data and drop 1 trace. Ooh, they're both quite good. Upgrading my link, so that's like my shield. That seems like a good idea. I can get 1 for free. I can't afford the other options, so I'll get 1 for free. The little shopkeepers have a very kind of strong Rick and Morty vibe. I would say the whole thing actually, or these designs have that kind of. Again, I don't know if that's just like a product of how things have been illustrated or not. This kind of strange psychedelic thing, but. It does make it feel a little bit Rick and Morty-ish. Let's drop all the trace and then head over that way. And we don't need to go in the fortress because we've dropped the trace to 0 anyway. What does this boss do? If this move is in the same direction as the previous one, reduce core strength by 1. Collect 1 data and drop 1 trace. That seems like it's pretty much always useful. Yeah, so I'm actually beating this one not by loading data on it. I've got to just move in the same direction twice. Okay. Okay, so this one has a really fiddly spatial puzzle where I need to do the things I need to do, but I also need to just move twice in the same direction to hurt it. One, two, 1, 2. There we go. And I'm in my fortress, so I can get out next turn. Nice. Yeah, I need to remember to check what the bosses do before I start moving around, but that's not a problem really. That's just part of the learning the game. That is the kind of difficulty at this stage though, is just knowing which parts of your game are hard to learn, and that's just part of learning the game, and which ones are hard to learn because of kind of UX things. So yeah. Let's get another fortress. I'm gonna be the fortress guy. I've decided to become the kind of guy that has a lot of fortresses. You know? You know, sometimes you look at a guy and you think that's a guy that's got a lot of fortresses. Inspirational quote. Refresh 2 adjacent nodes, then collect data for the amount of nodes. That's going to go there. So if you just dropped in, that grid is like upgrading the blue tiles that can appear on the main grid. And this guy has got 2 hearts, so is this guy going to be a particularly hard boss? This is Orwell. Upload X data to reduce core strength by X. Transform a random node into a watchful eye. We don't know what a watchful eye is. Bro's got so many fortresses. Here's a watchful eye. At the start of each turn, add 1 trace. Spend 3 data to drop 3 trace. If you can't, add 1 trace. Okay. So they're dangerous passively, and they're also dangerous to go on if you don't have enough data to bypass them. I'm going to collect data over there. I'll go that way. That way. I'm going to hide in here like a little coward. Back in my little castle. I don't think I'm going to be able to clear them quick enough. There's a lot of them. So maybe I just need to get over there. Hopefully my second castle will come out over here somewhere. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Ah, I can use the firewall to exhaust the eyes. That's pretty good. I can also hide in this tower and get data from the eavesdrop thing, which is pretty neat. But I don't think I'm gonna make it. Nope. Dead. I'm going to... You know, Neo didn't make it on his first jump too. Gonna go back to Deep Run and try Deep Run out, which is basically none of the tutorial stuff and everything else. Let's see what happens. If you have unused actions, drop 2 trace. I never want to not use up all my actions. You may move to any active node with Express if you have no actions. I'll go for Oddball. I like the way that you've got this preparation stage, but it's still presented as part of the map. I think that's a good little thing for onboarding you each time. Exhaust target node on activation. Ah, so that you can use that to zap things on the board that you don't want there to be there. It gives you an extra action. Okay. Need to remember that I don't need to spend all of my coins in that bit. My credits. My creds. There's two things I care about in this world. Creds and mini cheds. That gave me credits because I had maximum link. The run will be hard now. Excellent. Downtime 2. I don't know what that does. Collect 1 data. Exhaust this node and express. Okay, that's a data that you don't have to pay an action for. Not sure what downtime. Oh, it says there refreshes itself after X turns. Okay, so that's a point that gives you 4 data, and yeah, got it. But 4 data, but you can't use it every turn. Owner of an empty heart. Give me that sweet, sweet random item. Who's this? Collect only 1 data whenever you collect more than 1 data. I can't believe you do this to me, Fletcher. So I can only get 1 data per move for this core. Get some extra credits from that one. Pick up 4 data, but I don't get it. It didn't give me any data. Boom. Mate, you got turned into a crystal. Yeah, 2 extra link. That feels like... I feel like this might be the thing in the game economy that if you can upgrade it too much, it might break. I'm always looking for that, particularly with like turn-based economical games. When I was playing Aramis's Hexagod, I was just like, what is the one variable in this game I can break everything with by upgrading it? And I managed to find it. I'm not the most power gamery gamer, but if I can find that one thing in the game, then I will seek it out. And I feel like the maximum link is the one here, but I'm not sure. Right, we're not going to go to the item shop because I don't have any money, so we're going to go to the system grid. And I've got 25, so I can get one of these. Collect 1 more data anytime you would collect data. That sounds good to me. Should I spend a heart? Yeah. Callback seems quite useful generally. Core Express. Reduce core solid by 1. Spend 3 data to gain 1 action. Okay. Oh, he's got low... Okay, he's got lots and lots and lots of strength. He's got 42 strength. But it goes down whenever I move. If I move on it, then I'm going to gain trace, which is bad, unless I have enough data to pay for an action. So I don't know if did I just exhaust that when I should have left it open? So some of these things, you actually don't want to move across them because it deactivates them, I think. That's one of the things I'm not sure about. It's because I thought I needed to go on it and trigger it to activate it, but that's not how it works, I don't think. Reboot. Reshuffle the whole board. Yeah. That makes sense. So there's certain things that you need to not go on. Because they're like... Yeah, it's almost like you've got like a building on the map that gives you like a passive ability or income of something. Ow. Gonna die. Died. Gotcha. Yeah, I didn't really think through why it had that that ability. Oh, I should have used it then, because I had I'm right next to it and I didn't use the express. I keep collecting data when I can't do anything with it. That was very, very close. Like, if I didn't get to the end in that turn, I would have got zapped. That was cool. Okay, system extension. I can only afford that one. So that gives me more slots for the green special tiles. I'll get a heart back. Ooh, aspects. So if I go the aspects matrix route, then I don't get to gain credits. I'm going to go that way anyway. I feel like these are more powerful. Add 2 trace at the start of the first turn. Drop 2 trace during the first turn. Twice as much trace during the... Okay. RTFM. If a data node was activated, refresh all adjacent system nodes. That's cool. So data nodes are blue nodes, system nodes are green nodes, so I can kind of refresh the big power-ups with that. That seems good. Let's find out what Ned's deal is. Oh, I'm not there yet. Blackmail, spend data to drop trace. Spend data to game. I'm gonna go for the dropping trace one. So I haven't picked up much defensive stuff this time so far. So I need to keep remembering I've got oddball, so in this situation it's kind of good to go onto a 1 because that drops my trace. And one of the things I'm not sure about this becomes odd rule is it only when it's odd? So if I'm on 3 and I go up to 5, does it drop trace? No. Yes, it does. Okay, so it steps through the numbers, so it goes up to 4 and then 5, which means it does drop trace in that situation. That's worth knowing, I guess. Data overflow. It's hurting me every time I pick up data I can't use. Dang. I don't like you, Ned. You know how much I love to pick up data I can't use. Thanks to new folks who followed during the stream. Anyone who's watching on Twitch as well, hello. I have only started multi-streaming to Twitch as well in the last... I died in the last kind of couple of weeks. Learning Streamlabs has not been as painful as I thought it was going to be, so that's nice. That's nice. But I do have this overlay where half the stuff is empty because overlay designers make loads of assumptions about what you want to put on them. So I don't want a Twitter logo. It's not even... doesn't even exist anymore. I don't have an account on there anymore. Okay, I need to watch this overflow thing, so I'm going to actually just restart that level. Because the developers very kindly allowed us to restart a level. And then just go straight over to him, because otherwise I fill up the data and then when I'm getting more than 8 he keeps whacking me. It is a direct counter to my playstyle, yeah. I hate him. He's the worst. And I will have my vengeance on him in this life or the next. Did it. Got him. So we're going to upgrade the system. We can go and get a heart. If we don't get the heart, we get... okay, I'm gonna not prioritize health this time because we've got more than one heart, which is, in my mind, that is doing well. What are the options we've got here? Or do I have to take all of them? Hello, this is an experimental feature. We're trying to figure out how to reward the player for making a drop on the home node. More link. Test my upgrading link is broken theory. I have nothing to base it on. Yeah, the data doesn't do anything in the context of like the broader game. It's just within that little encounter. Some of them you have ones that give you coins. Credits. So this is reveals adjacent nodes and gives you data for data activated from any distance without movement. That seems quite powerful. I will get that block. And that one. I should have put that on the edge really, but oh well. Another data pool. X files, wonderful. If this node is 2 or more spaces away from the avatar, collect 7 data. But we have to reveal it while the avatar is far away from it. Collect X data and add trace. Don't want to deliberately add trace. So we can upgrade a tile to give us 3. Sure. Credits grab. That's the core. Oh, it's just like a special level. Okay. Okay. That was good, I think. Is there anything better than when a game has like a grab as much treasure as you can level? It's got to be one of the best things. It's the old golden axe beat up the treasure goblin thing that they put in Diablo 3. Just gotta have a treasure goblin. Where there is treasure, there should also be a treasure goblin. Let's get some more aspects. When trace becomes equal to 1, gain an action. Ah. At the start of your turn, add an extra trace. Oh, okay. That's quite risky. If your avatar is on the edge, drop 1 extra trace whenever you would drop trace. I'd need a crystal and I don't have one. A, B, K, T, T, G. Always be kicking the treasure goblin. That's my motto in life. Lose 1 link, then reboot, then restore 2 link. Flashbang. Exhaust this node, then drop 1 trace and re-trigger reveal trigger on all active nodes. What? I don't know what that means. But it sounds provocative. Item shop. What can I get? Consumables. Okay, I need to remember I have those. So let's see what they look like in a level, because I don't think I've used them at all. They're down here. These are the consumables. Okay. Did the live chat feed on stream crash? I don't know. I can see people in it. I mean, this is about the yeah, the one on the overlay doesn't appear very often. It only comes up when someone posts a new message. It fades away quite quickly compared to like watching the chat on the platform. Right, what am I doing? There's a lot of these hostile code gates. Upload exactly X data to gain X actions. If you can't, lose X data instead. So it's getting very, very fiddly now. Okay, so 1, 2, 4, 3. I've got to collect that much data and then jump onto them. So this guy only needs 1, so I'll go there first. Did that do anything? Oh no, I didn't. Okay, I'm going to restart this level because I forgot about the firewall. So I was supposed to pick up 1 data and then go on that guy, but I actually needed to pick up that one because that would get rid of the firewall and then give me 1 data, so I can get him now. Difficult. Maybe those people just didn't pop up in the chat because they're naughty. Okay. We're getting somewhere. Gonna die. I've got too much data. What can I use it on to get rid of it? Oh, that's fun. This one is really puzzly. So puzzly I can't even explain what's going on. Yes, this level definitely counters my playstyle. Also counters my brain. gonna die. I can take that guy out. Okay. Okay. I'm going to try and go for the bigger one first. Oh, actually, I've got two, so I'm right next to it, so I might as well go for it. And I'm not going to pick up any more data because next turn I might be able to pick these data up to get rid of my firewall and then jump onto this guy. So I will leave that for now. It's very difficult to think ahead on this one. Very, very fiddly. Okay, we're going to restore some link. Come around this way. I really like this flood ability. Just turns them all into instant messages that give me 1 data. Oh, I can take that guy out next turn, but I'm going to get zapped before then. This one is really, really hard. It's a good puzzle though. I'm not sure if I want that active at the moment, but I'm going to leave it for now. Yeah, I'm not going to make it. It's too hard. Dang. Dang. I'll try that one more time. Very difficult with... consumables. Consumables, you're my friend. Okay, that was a good start. That was a really good start. I keep forgetting that the home tile reboots everything. It's quite useful when you need it. That gives me 2, so I can go there and then do the 5th one. Okay. Well, hey, how much better was that than the previous run? Oh, I say this all the time, but and I know it sounds quite obvious, but one of the best things that can happen when you're watching people playtest your games is they do something and they suck at it, and then the next time they are considerably better at it, because it means that your game has a decent amount of difficulty, but that the way to beat that difficulty can be learned. And sometimes you have games that are just hard and there's nothing there to really latch onto in terms of what you're supposed to do to improve. So seeing that kind of difference between someone's attempts at a level where it just sort of jumps up after they've stopped and thought about it a little bit is a very, very good sign that the overall design is working. System extension, and then we can go either of these ways. Okay, the top has more permanent stuff. This one gives us extra actions at the start of the next level. Crystals grab sounds fun though, so we're gonna go down that route at the bottom. Let's get the four piece, and then we'll go down this way towards the crystal grab. I like the idea of these grab levels. It's a lot of fun. Activation, reboot 2 times. Teleport to this node and drop trace. Distance to this node. That sounds pretty potentially useful. Let's go with that. Get extra actions, and then we're going to do a crystal grab. Okay. So I'm trying to get to these. There's a place I can get some credits as well. I can use my teleport to it as well, and we've got the signal jammer, which gives me 1 less link and hurts me when I stop next to it. Okay. I'm going to go over there and get that. And I can also land on it and spend data to get my link back. Okay. I'm going to go this way and get that. I think one of the things that's very impressive about this design overall is that there are very few times where I need to do anything different from just clicking on where I want to move. Everything happens as a result of you just moving. There's not like, oh, you move and then you need to click here and click this and drag this. There's very little that you have to do in terms of your player input with your hands. And I think you know, recently we covered Jesse Schell's book of lenses, the game design book. I've got the cards here as well. I've got the sort of tarot cards of designing they're backwards. You've got backwards text on the webcam, but one of the lenses in Jesse Schell's kind of lenses model is the lens of head and hands. It's the idea of like, what is your player doing in their head, and what are they doing with the controls? And it's like you can put lots of complexity in one place, but if you go for lots of complexity, then it needs to be in just one place. So for example, if I'm doing a dodge roll combat game, then everything I'm doing is reacting to the situation and like reacting and looking at and using my hands. And then if you then ask me to do a bunch of math at the same time, I'm not going to be able to do that. And with this, there is loads and loads going on in my head, but the actual action I carry out to interact with this is very, very simple. And it is much more a case of just reading the context of all of these tiles put together and how they relate to each other. But then what I'm doing is just clicking on where to go. And that's really neat, and that is kind of one of the things that's making this game work very well. It's not like, you know, like in a classic kind of Slay the Spire game where I'm dragging cards onto characters and I have to think about where the card goes and who it goes on. Don't have any of that aspect here. And it means that, okay, some of these are quite overwhelming in terms of how much text there is, how the rules work. I'm struggling with it a little bit. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it does only work because the interaction is so simple. So it kind of there's complexity in one place, and then having simplicity in another place sort of buys you budget to be, you know, get away with being more complex in one place. We're going to teleport. We're going to use that new teleport node to go over there, because that's going to lower my trace, and that means I won't get hit with anything this turn. And then I'm going to do some of this stuff. I don't want to use that because it'll get rid of that crystal. And look, we came here to get some crystals. That's why we're here. Oof. These corrosions that don't have the spikes on only add one trace when you go through them. So I think I can just dash through them and get out of the level now. Oh, we got 3 crystals and some credits in that level. That was very satisfying. Very nice. 2 link during the next level. Or this way, and we go past Midas. Well, I've got crystals, so I kind of want to go this way to go through the aspects matrix again. Collect 1 data twice. An express one. Those are quite good for making you more mobile around the map. I quite like having more of those express things on the board. Police report, collect data based on your trace value. Okay. It's a police report, it's got a little donut on it. Collect 5 data and lose 1. I'm going to go, this is the safe option. I'm going to go with the safe option for now. And I can pop that there, and then that will merge with the other one and level it up. This is a very helpful little indicator, that yellow arrow there. Okay, so that now goes further when it refreshes the stuff around it. That's neat. Let's get some aspects. Ah, some of them are hidden, are they? Whenever you gain callbacks, drop that much trace. Whenever you spend callbacks, add that much trace. Okay. Edgelord. If the avatar is on the edge, drop an extra trace whenever you would drop trace. That sounds pretty useful. Come on, Midas. What's your deal? Is this going to be a credits related thing? Transform. When I activate him, transform 3 random non-loot modes into loot modes. End of turn, loses X core strength, X's number of active loot nodes when then activates. Credits gained. Lose 1 link for each 10 credits gained. Oh my god. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. Got me. So this guy is like, this guy's whole deal is being very, very high risk reward. There's loads of treasure nodes you can spawn, but it's just, I mean, I'm doing it with 1 heart as well, which is not a great way to start. Okay, because he takes link off you when you gain credits. Gotcha. It's like a temptation-based boss. Gotcha. So, is there a way to like grab them as you run for the exit though? I'm trying to look at which things I've got that drop my trace. Jump over there. That thing you can jump to is really strong. It's a good thing to have because you just go away from it and then zap to it and get your. Rough. Yeah, I really think two people could make the same game and it would come out so different just by virtue of someone else making it, you know? I'm gonna die again. This one is really difficult, but also I've gone into the level with one heart, so I don't know how people feel about the ability to restart. I don't know if that's a demo feature, but then I was also just thinking about this a moment ago, and I think you do so much prep in this game in terms of building and modifying the stuff that I think having permadeath might be too harsh, because you're requiring quite a lot of players to just do the first couple of do the first couple of bosses in terms of like buying things, building things, all of that kind of stuff. It's quite There's quite a lot that exists in that bit of the game. Okay, I've got this now, which is going to be maybe helpful. This gives me one more data whenever I collect data. The reason why this one is so hard is he's nuking so much of the board, so my opportunities to pick up data are really, really limited. And I need the data to defeat him. So I have to keep going back and rebooting the whole board, which is like shuffling everything, and then it hides it all again. It's very, very, very difficult. Get my link back, go back to the middle. Right, we can do 4 to him now, which is maybe not bad. You need to keep the loot nodes on the board. Oh, okay. Gotcha. So really I just need to hop around and keep... So activating him adds more loot nodes, which makes him get into his lose state quicker. But I still need to... not die from getting traced. So actually, the blackmail is pretty helpful in this situation, because I can use it multiple times. Okay, so the blackmail and the, what's the teleporty star thing called? The blackmail and favorites are probably the most helpful things that I have at my disposal at the moment, because that gets rid of my trace. Got it. Yeah, the puzzle of this one sort of evaded me for a while there. I was just trying to solve a different puzzle that wasn't what the boss puzzle was. It's gonna kill me. Can't get over there in time. Blast! Okay. Now I have a better understanding of how this works. I think I've got a chance to do this now. I was thinking maybe I couldn't do this with one heart, but I think maybe I can. Okay, so that refreshes data nodes, so I need to leave that one alone. Yeah, I need to remember I've got the items. Okay. We got the refresh right next to the favorites. That was good. My trace went up because I used a callback. I forgot about that. Gonna kill me again. You're gonna kill me again. I forgot to use the item. Ah! So close that time. Really, really difficult. Enjoyable though. It's just it's very brain melty. This is a brain melter of a game. But I like that. I find that enjoyable. It's not a problem. It's definitely going to put some people off, but you can't make something for everyone. Like the dev said in the message at the start, it was like, I know this isn't for everyone. I just want it to work for the people that it is for, which is a very good place to come from, I think. Okay, so we've got the star over there. I want to kind of get reasonably far away from it. Oh. Use my fake ID. Reset the board. Right, I've only got one action left. I've still got 5 trace, so I'm gonna try and lower that straight away. That refreshes data node, so that will turn that back on. But I will save that for to next turn because I don't need it yet. Ah! He turned it into gold. Classic Midas moves. Okay, drop my trace with that. That turned my data into my trace, into getting rid of trace. That is pretty useful. Yeah, I did do the data upload a few times, but it wasn't working for me kind of strategically, so I'm just trying to survive and focus on lowering the trace at the moment. That seems to be a better thing for me at the moment, but right, I need to remember I've got this link consumable as well, because that's gonna just get me through, I think. Need to save that for next turn. Whew. Oh, every time I try and save something, he turns it into gold. It's a very good boss puzzle design. Very, very good. Restore some link that way. Right. I've got 2 more actions. Can't get there in time. This is gonna be so close. Oh. Yay! Okay. That was good. So I reshuffled the board and it put this piece next to me, which allowed me to spend my data to drop my trace, which now means I'm not going to take any damage this turn. Oh, but he's taking less damage because there's less loot things on the board. It's a really, really good boss design. It's very, very strong thematically. Can activate blackmail from everywhere, yeah. Which is what this... So the remote ability is this little white Wi-Fi symbol and the... I don't know if it's the green border as well, but... I need to remember that. It's also helpful to use the express to get you further away from the favourites so that you can zap to the favourites from further away. Okay, I'm going to do flood. Oh no, that's not going to help me. Dang. Oh no, it is. I use flood to pick up some more of these. And then I'll use blackmail. There we go. This boss really teaches you to use these two abilities if you've got them. So you just can't do it otherwise. So I feel like I should use my actions to get further away from favourites and then zap back to favourites to get my trace down. I think that's the best thing I can do in this situation. Or I go there and I use blackmail again. Although I don't need to now. So I will just stay there. Excellent. Yeah, last time he basically died on the same turn as me. I went for the risky play. Grabbed the loot on the way out. It's a heist, right? Cyberpunk stories are nearly always essentially heists, whether it's in the Matrix thing or actually in meat space. You gotta go for the heisty grab. I don't feel like there's much benefit to getting an empty heart, seeing as I've never been at full hearts, so we're gonna go the Octa route. I think that, so that boss, for example, was incredibly grueling in terms of how much I had to think about it. So I do hope, in terms of the pacing of the game, like the, what would you call it? The choreography of what content gets given to us at some point. What I would hope is the developer sort of has a sense of which of these bosses require loads of thinking. And you don't get like 2 of them in a row. That's kind of what I would be looking for as you move into like the late stages of balancing this and choreographing all the content, is maybe have a think about which bosses are real brain melters and try and think about what order you get them in and stuff like that, because that could be quite make or break for someone's experience with this. But that said, we do get quite a lot of downtime between bosses. We get a couple of stages of buying things, rearranging and stuff like that. And it's very it's very welcome at this stage. So we're going to get some more memory. Memory is like your maximum data that you can hold. I'm going to take the free one. I should have spent some coins there and got the second one. I thought I could do both, but I was misunderstanding that. I can spend a data to gain an action. Teleport to any node without activating it. That's just like a general teleportation thing. And we'll get that as well. Come on, Octa. What's your deal? Trace and firewall persist between turns. And if they're at 0, set them to 8. Hi, Octa. Oh, you can zoom in as well. I hadn't done that yet. Only a little bit. Octa, I hate you. I'm not a fan of your whole vibe. I'm gonna die immediately. I am actually going to die immediately, so let's save everyone some time. Okay. I've got my favourites. That's a very thematically good, like, funny little metaphor as well of, like, the favourites is the thing that kind of you ping back to. That was good. I had like a nice little cycle of things refreshing their neighbours for me there. That was quite nice. Okay, I can lower my trace with that. And then hyperlink over there. And then zap him. Boom! Yeah, see? Exactly what I was saying about pacing. Very, very nice to get an easier one after that last one was such a brain melter. But also, some of it's going to come down to playstyle. Some of it will just come down to, you know, one person finds a particular boss really, really difficult because of their build or the way they play. So you can't really counter that. You can't kind of proof the game for it. It's kind of just one of the things with run-based games as well, which is it definitely gives me pause for thought about if you let people retry bosses and stuff, because people could get stuck in a loop of just losing in a situation that's not very fun for them. So that's something to think about in terms of like player experience. There's one of the things that makes people absolutely hate a game is not losing but taking ages to lose. This is one of the reasons why so many people hate Monopoly. And a lot of people house rule it so that it takes longer to lose. So a game that you should lose in 30 minutes, they're like, oh, well, you land on free parking and you get the money in the middle, and it's not actually enough to help you ever come back from losing. So you just lose for longer. That's one of the reasons why, at the opposite end of the spectrum, if you play like Call of Duty or something, they reward success by making you more powerful, which doesn't make sense for fairness in a multiplayer game, but it does make sense in terms of the overall experience of sitting down and playing multiple sessions, because it means when you're getting whomped, you get whomped more quickly. So I would think in this game, I would think about the experience of like having a bad build, getting into a boss that you can't do, and then retrying it over and over again with a bad build and like starting with one heart and stuff. That's all right for the demo to give us a sense of what the game feels like to play, but it might not be good in the long term because players just get stuck in that loop. It's a really difficult balance because I think it's good to give people like maybe 3 chances, but if you give people infinite chances, then they'll get stuck in that loop. If you only give people 1 chance, the game feels overly harsh because the deck building aspect of this game is a little bit more involved than just putting 1 card in a deck each turn, each match or whatever you want to call it. So it just feels like a very tentative balance of things to think about and play around with. Yeah, you don't want unlimited restarts, but I also don't think you only want 1 try. It's a really difficult balancing act. Okay, this one gives me exhaust all adjacent nodes and gain an action. I could put this down over here. I'm not sure I want to do that though, because these ones have been so trusty, reliable. Drop trace, set actions to 2, reboot 2 times. Yeah, that will do me on the system grid. There's quite a strong, I feel quite a strong loss aversion about on the system grid losing one of those 3 things that I'm putting down. Data pool. We've still got some basic stuff on here, so roundup ticket costs. When activated, reduce the counter value instead of exhausting. Oh, it's a multi-use. What does it do though? Oh, it's just a free move basically that you can use twice. That's pretty good. Transform this node and all adjacent. See, there's stuff here where the way that you have to like read the rules and interpret them, I think if this was fantasy themed it wouldn't work. It would feel too complex, but because it makes you feel like you're interpreting a programming language of some description, it's kind of okay. It fits the theme of the game. Transform this node and all adjacent exhausting nodes into random data nodes. That could be fun. Registry, collect data, number of active system nodes, collect data and add tray. Okay, I'm going to go with this one. Let's pop it down here. Hi Zulu. Ayrton. I think I'm probably going to play until the next, I don't know, maybe 20 more minutes on this one, I think. What does this guy do? If there are no active checkpoints on the board, reduce core strength by 1. Then restore and refresh all checkpoints. Have you got... these are checkpoints. So I've got to go through them. Okay. So the idea of this map is I've got to be very fast and get around and get rid of these checkpoints. And if I go on one of them with 2 data, then I'll get 2 actions, which will allow me to do it all in 1 turn. And his strength only goes down if I can clear all of them in 1 go. This is going to help me out because it can get me over to between these, so I feel like I should go for that one first. Oh, that was silly. Just refresh the entire board. I'm going to restart there because I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so I've got to get round to all of these different locations. Spend a data to gain an action. That's not going to do enough anything because I don't have it. Interesting. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, he doesn't... Oh, he just says he's going to restore and refresh all checkpoints. That's what why I thought I needed to do it every... Ah, okay, you just have to hit them all and then activate him. It's not something that happens automatically. Got it. Over there. Hi, Rasputin. Okay. I see. Okay, it reduces his strength by 1 each time I do it. So what do I need to... I don't need a certain amount of data to activate him. I can just activate him however. Got it. Got it. Okay. Whoopsie. I really like how different each of these cores feels to each other. It's really neat. If anyone else is making a run-based game, just think about your encounters in this way. Like, how can you make them feel really different from each other in terms of how they use the core mechanics? You can... And this is only able to do it because it's so spatial. It's not just whacking someone with numbers. I like a number. Big fan of a number, but sometimes you need other vectors in your gameplay. Okay, so I've done a lap, I've cleared everything. And now I'm gonna die again. I could do one very easily, but it's like I'm sort of overusing the things that get rid of trace, I think. And then I don't have them the next turn, and I forget that I can't just... that the board clears, and then I don't have the tools to survive the next turn. I'm gonna die again. I'm gonna die again. I'm gonna die again. I'm going to die again. I'm going to die again. Meerkat. I love the way that as you expand the deck that is the board, you get more and more of these express actions, which means you can just whiz around the board a lot easier. I'm not doing any good with it, but it is cool. Death counter. Killed myself. Jumped on the tile that lost one link. Okay. That was an okay start. Yeah, that's definitely not supposed to refresh the boss thing, but oh well. Yeah, flood is pretty good. Ah, okay, yeah. What's this? Corwin the Corvid. That's a good way to give people a test drive of tiles they don't have as well. That feature. No, can't make it. Can't make it. Dead. Yeah, this needs a death counter video, and it just needs like every 3 seconds a clip from Johnny Mnemonic with him like having his brain fried. That was good. Needs some Digimons. I mean, can you think of anything that wouldn't be improved by a Digimon? Dunno, mate. Needs more Digimons. Needs more Digimons in it. went for the credits then. Probably a bad idea. Do I have any way of regaining trace on this? I don't think I do. Regaining link. Arrgh. Cursed. Cursed. Yeah. Someone in the... Who is that? Is that... Kapuscinski. There's like one colour of screen name on the chat that I just can't read. And Kapuscinski's name was in that colour. Well, yeah, name 7 things that can be benefited by Digimons. The Fall of Rome. No, that was a bad first move. I didn't get anything done I needed to do that turn. That's not a game. No, we didn't say... Did I say game? Did I say it had to be a game? Or did I say anything that could be... Did I say the thing in question had to be a game? I can't remember. Don't you think Digimon would help Rome? I love the way that you put these little temptations in the levels. Like this one gives me credits but ends the turn, and I can't afford to end the turn because I'm doing a race. I've got +4 memory from that mnemonics upgrade. That's good. Yeah, I like these kind of mechanics where you give players cards or tiles that they don't normally have just for that match, because then it kind of showcases other stuff that's in the game in a sort of non-permanent way. It's neat. I just think they're neat. Divorce papers. Divorce papers are naturally a singleton. I'm gonna kill myself again, aren't I? I really am. Whew. I didn't specify it had to be a game. Yeah, I said, can you name anything that wouldn't be improved by Digimon? Doesn't have to be a game. Thank you for scrolling back, Cuckoo. Doing the Lord's work. I just weaseled out of dying that turn. Weasley Weasel. No! No! I thought I'd saved one action. I thought I'd saved one action to do my little sneaky teleport. Right. Digimon fried rice. Delicious. Yeah, we're definitely into sort of kind of corporate training video land with the music at the moment. Just speak to a member of HR about our new dental plan. Elon Musk goes home after a long day at SpaceX, and he's got like these home movies of his children being born, and he's got them all montaged together, all of his lots of children that he doesn't speak to anymore, and he's like watching this slow motion montage, and it's got this music on, just like slow fades between all of the children being born, and a single tear rolls down his cheek. Yeah, it's good music. It's good music. It's just that's mainly what it reminds me of. I think that's what it would remind anyone of. That's a normal thing to think about. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm gonna try one more time. One more time. It is the kind of game that you can start to feel when you can't win, and then you keep pressing restart on it. That's not a bad thing, but it does make it maybe frustrating to watch. That was a terrible first move. I did nothing of value. Absolutely nothing of value. Oh. We're cooking. We're zooming about. And then next turn, I'm going to use Flood to make the second. Oh, I went past that one. I just went past. Sorry, I teleport over the next turn. I'm definitely getting brain fatigue now. I'm just like making really stupid decisions. It's a great puzzle again, though. Bug or no bug, it's a good puzzle. I think being able to make something where you have, you know, you have the strategic layer of building your deck up to work a particular way, and then also having these encounters that feel like very, very different puzzles each time. It's really, really an achievement. It's solid. Good stuff. Right, I'm going to use Flood now to try and get back round. Okay. I really need to get better at using Flood on this map, because it is what you need to use. I mean, presumably it's not the only way to do it, because you can be on this map and not have that available, but I need to reset the board or I'm not going to be able to make it round, I think. Okay. Here we go. Right, I'm going to get the extraction off of this. We've got blackmail ready, so we can use that later in the turn to survive a bit longer. We'll jump over there. Oh, last time I got a free kind of checkpoint because the wire burn took out that row. Can't use the wire burn here because it's going to take out blackmail. Dear, dear, dear. It's taken out blackmail now anyway, so can't do anything about that. No. That's it. I can't do any more. I said that would be the last one. It's pretty good. I really like the way all of the parts of this game are working together. But yeah, it's got like a different level of investment at different parts of the game. You spend a lot of time messing around with the data pool, the system grid, the aspects matrix. These are all different things. You have to think quite hard about how you put the things into. It's not just which of these cards do I want in my deck, and a lot of that comes down to each of these things is individually useful, and you're not thinking so much about how they overall synergize, but when you put things on these grids, the individual actions of putting those things onto the data pool or onto the system grids, you knock other things out, and that kind of spatial hexagonal thing of organizing these grids means that you do a lot of thinking in between the actual the core hacks or runs or whatever you want to call them. So it means that it feels like you're investing quite a lot of time in the deck building aspect of the game as much as the kind of the playing of the thing. I really like it. Yeah, sorry if stuff's fuzzy. I don't know. I've got full display capture on, so I don't know if that's causing anything like that. But yeah, I really like that. I think you're going to have to do some thinking about how the retries work. It might be a case of it is, you know, Iron Man insta-death and you die the first time and you restart, and maybe just tuning it so the overall difficulty of like how many hearts you have to lose or that kind of thing is a bit higher, is a bit easier. Because fundamentally a lot of these run-based games, when they're turn-based, or probably when they're not, it becomes much more about like you have quite a large pool of health and you lose that over time by making bad choices. And the smaller and more granular the health is, like, you know, Zelda hearts rather than a big health bar, then the more punishing the game will be over an individual bad choice. So that's kind of like the big distinction between a game like this where you have 3 hearts or you have 5 hearts versus a big health bar in something like Slay the Spire. It just means it is a lot more punishing. And because we've got this kind of shield system where you've got a slightly bigger number and when that gets to 0 you lose a health, that makes that feel very, very significant when you lose a health, because those hearts are quite difficult to recover. So there's a lot of stuff to think about there and a lot of things to tune, and I would just say to the developer, just make sure you've got an easy way to tune this. Like if you don't have a kind of server focused way of changing the balancing of this, I would make sure that you have that before launch, so that you can just change the numbers in the game without requiring people to actively download a new version of the game. If you don't have that at the moment, then put that in. You can have like you can have a baked in balancing for the game that is the standard balancing, and then have some override where when the game is online it will check to see if there's a new one and pull it down. That's how balancing tends to work on games, on like live service games. So if you can incorporate that sort of thing, then you can watch how people are getting along with it and you can balance the game without having to launch new builds every time. So definitely look into that if you don't have that already. But really impressed with this. And you know, I didn't mention it during the stream because I've basically stopped talking about it except when it's at really offensive levels, but I don't know, I'll comment on it now. I'm about 90% sure that some of these assets are AI generated, if not all, and I didn't talk about it during the stream because I think if they are, then this is a rare instance of a game where that has been done well and everything has been curated well. Everything looks like it's from the same universe. So, you know, if these were drawn by an illustrator, sorry illustrator, I don't mean to say it looks like AI, but some of the design choices of these characters are a bit strange and odd, but the theming of the game makes it work. And most of these feel reasonably memorable. I didn't feel like any of them were so generic that I couldn't tell. And there you go, Dennis. They're not AI generated. There is something quite strange about them that gives them that quality. And I think it is the combination of sometimes the line weights are different on these things, which kind of feels like it's a tell even when it's not. And then just some of the design choices of these characters are strange and the angles are strange. But I didn't want to bring it up during the stream because it wasn't obvious whether it's true or not, and 2, it kind of looks fine anyway. But yeah, these characters do have this kind of strange sort of, they're quite psychedelic, but they all do sort of look like the thing they represent as well. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. And if that's not the case as well, that's a lot of illustrations. Lots and lots of illustrations. It's one of the things people don't think about when they make like card or tiled based games. is that, okay, you don't have to animate characters and you don't have to do certain things, but you do need a lot of content in terms of those illustrations and stuff. Let's take a look over at how things are going on the Steam for this game. So the demo was released in March. Free early access. I think that's a good model. Like, especially when you're, if you've got like if you've got a game where you want to collect data to balance it, then getting it out to more people is probably more important for the overall quality of the game in the long run than like charging people for it and then, you know, way less people playing it as a result. So yeah, I did see the gallery page on the homepage. Snail. Some of the concepts of these are great. I didn't even notice that Claude was a crab. Yeah, I think there will be a few people that kind of assume that these are AI assets just because the style is so close, and like say the hazy glow, the slight surrealness, the fact that we've got lots of things drawn from different angles and all of those kind of things. I think they're nice. And like I said, this is a situation where everything looks nice and it makes me care less about where it's came from. What I don't like is when things look really, really inconsistent, and these don't look inconsistent. I also like what you've got here where the data nodes are more similar to each other and then the system is more varied, right? Because these are more like, the data are more like the mundane common things that you'll see every run. These are like your basic things you'll see every run. So they're more similar to each other. They are generally blue and yellow, and that's the kind of the similarity. And then when we get down here, everything is strange and unusual and varied and different from each other, which helps to, it feels like you've got very like a good hierarchy of value. And we've got lots of like things down here that look like files and look like I guess computer interface things, and then when you get down here there's kind of more strange stuff, and that's kind of good in terms of just giving a sense of what like the hierarchy of value is. Which ones of these did we see? Right, thank you all for dropping in. I am going to log off now. Thank you for joining. Give the game a play on Steam if it looks interesting to you. There is an open demo that anyone can play. I don't think you don't need to sign up for a playtest or anything. It's just on there. There is quite a lot of game there already. Like, I could have just played that deep run several times. I don't know how randomized it is at this stage, but there's quite a lot there. And I think just the general overall approach of these bosses all feeling like weird little puzzles where it's not just chipping away at something's health. It's really, really solid. Very, very impressed with that. See you all soon. And thanks for popping in today.